Hoardganize podcast. I am your host, professional organizer, Rachel Seavey, and it's time to get organized. Hey collectors, welcome back to the Hoardganize podcast. So happy that you're here. Today I have 30 questions to ask yourself while you're decluttering. This is an actual list that I give a lot of my clients when they have trouble making decisions, and it's very helpful, so I wanted to share it with you. The first question you want to ask yourself when you're decluttering is, do I still love it? If you don't love the item and you're struggling with clutter and it's hard to navigate through your home or you're overwhelmed with clutter, then it's probably time to donate this item and move it along. If you don't love it, it's time for it to go. You can also ask yourself question number 2, do I still like it? I mean, you don't have to hate an item to give it away, but do you even like this item anymore? Question number 3, big question, do you still need it? I know a lot of people are hanging on to items that they've had from the past lives and previous jobs that they've done. Do you still really need 3 sewing machines? Do you still really need a crock pot if you haven't used it in a while? So you really want to ask yourself, do I still need this item? Maybe I needed it 10, 20, 30 years ago. Maybe I needed it last week and I don't need it anymore. So definitely ask yourself if you still need the item. Number 4 is a great one. Would you buy it again? So if you saw this item in the store today, would you buy it again? And suppose you bought it originally because it was a great value. It was on sale. If you saw this item at full price in the store today, would you still buy it? It's a great question to ask yourself. I know there's a lot of bargain shoppers out there. We impulsively buy things just because they're on sale. But think of that item, think of it being full priced at the store today. Would you buy it? Number 5, do I still wear this item? So we're talking about clothing, shoes, jewelry, anything that you adorn yourself with. Are you still wearing this item? How long has it been since you wore this particular sweater? I mean, does it even fit? Start really scrutinizing your belongings. You want to ask yourself, when's the last time I wore this thing, and move it along if it's been over a year. Number 6, is there a duplicate? So I know a lot of you have duplicates. So think to yourself like, oh my gosh, I've got, all these scissors or all this fabric. I mean, there's no scarcity when it comes to your home, right? So do you have a duplicate of this item or a triplicate? Or more of this item, and which one do you like better? You really don't need multiples of the same thing. Number 7 ties in with that. How easy is it to get another one? So this is something that I really like to stress on the clients that I work with in my day-to-day job. How easy is it to replace, all of this expired food? Like, why are we hanging on to stuff that's expired, stuff that we're not using anymore, little knickknacks, parts of hardware? Don't hang on to all the extra screws that come from things. They're very easy to replace. It's very easy to go out and buy new light bulbs or to buy new canned goods and get rid of the old ones. So how easy is it to get another one is number 7. And number 8, would you get that exact item if it was easy enough to get, or would you get a different one? I mean, a lot of the times technology has changed. There have been improvements and advancements in different devices and things that we use. So would you get that exact item again, or would you get something a little bit more up to date? Number 9, it's a little bit different than number 1. Do I use it? I mean, you might still like it, you might still love it, you might buy it again, but are you really using that item? You want to make sure that you're using your items that you have in your home. That's how clutter happens, is we hang on to things for different reasons, different beliefs, different ideas, and that's what's really holding us back. So if you're not using an item, it's probably time to move it along. Number 10, Do you cherish this item? Now, I have always said, if it's memorabilia, if it's things that have been passed down, heirlooms, things of that nature from family members. I mean, do you cherish this item? Is it something that you absolutely love? You really want to ask yourself, and it falls into, again, like, is it easy to replace? How often am I using it? Do I love it? Do I like it? Do I cherish it? Is it something that, it's not on the floor buried under pieces of paper? It's out on display. It's something that you really, really cherish. Number 11, which is something that I know a lot of you guys have, is, do you have a similar item? Not a duplicate, but just a similar item. A lot of people have these new Instapots, for example, instead of crock pots. And so if you have something similar, like if you have a juicer and a Ninja and you guys love your little shakes and all those kinds of things, and they're really healthy, there's no judgment. But do you really need that many that are so much alike? Do you already have something that's similar? Can you use your blender and donate your juicer, or the other way around? Do you have something that's similar? Number 12. Now, I know a lot of you like to save things for people. Oh my gosh, maybe the neighbor down the street that has kids wants all of these, Legos and things like that. But it's a nice thought to give things away to people that you want, and it's an easier decision than just donating it to the Goodwill. I totally get it. But I really want you to ask yourself, would that person really appreciate that you're saving items for them? And these are items that they don't even know about. So how much are they going to appreciate if they don't know that you were saving those Legos and you just go ahead and donate them to the Goodwill? I mean, they're not going to be upset. They had no idea most of the time that you were saving or stockpiling this stuff for them. So how appreciative would that person be once you dump all your junk onto them? So that's a good question to ask, because I know a lot of you are saving things for people that you know. Number 13 ties into number 12. Are you really going to get those Legos to the lady down the street? I know that people have been saving things for their nieces and nephews, and now they're grown. Oh, well, I saved all these childhood toys for my grandkids, but now they're grown and have their own kids. So are you really going to make that effort to get this stuff that you're stockpiling out to the other people? And then reflect back to number 12. How much would they actually appreciate you dumping your junk onto them? Number 14, very obvious, should have been probably higher on the list. When's the last time that you used something? Again, if you haven't used something in over a year, over 5 years, 10 years for sure, it should absolutely be out of there. You don't want to hang on to things that you're not using. This is a big reason why you have clutter in your home. Number 15, does this drain my energy or lift it? If you have to collect all the puzzle pieces around the house to get this perfect puzzle together so it's all together when you donate it, is that an energy drainer? Are you really lifting your energy by spending all this time saving things to reunite with other pieces? Or is it just easier to get rid of it? I know you don't like putting things in the landfill, but I have a lot of clients that save things, especially ones with kids, and they say, oh, this was such a fun game, Hungry Hippos. I'm missing half the pieces. Let's hang on to this thing until we find every single little ball, which is practically impossible and so what we're left with are literally boxes that are like labeled, pieces looking for mates. So that's something you don't want to get stuck with. I know it's fun to have a whole complete thing to donate, but if it's an energy drainer to try and gather all those pieces together and then storing them and saving them for the, lady down the street that doesn't know about them, you really want to revisit if you're just draining your energy, which a lot of you don't have much energy, on getting this stuff together. Number 16. Does this item make me feel overwhelmed or depressed? And this is kind of a hard one. So we hang on to things that, maybe we put on some weight. That's a big one. And then every time you look in your closet, you've hung on to all these size small things, but you're an extra large now. every time you look in your closet and you see all this size small stuff, I mean, subconsciously and consciously, you're thinking of yourself as a failure. You're thinking of yourself as overweight. Is this item make you feel overwhelmed or depressed? Are you saving things, to fit into when you lose weight? That's something that you really want to be aware of, is the psychic debris. Hanging on to things that make you feel overwhelmed or depressed, hanging on to items that maybe your ex left in the house and you don't know what to do with them, and every time you see them you feel overwhelmed or depressed. So anything that makes you feel overwhelmed or depressed, it's time to let it go. Number 17. Now, does it make you feel good or happy when you hold up this shirt? Does it bring you joy, like Marie Kondo said? So that's my number 17. Does it make you feel good or happy? We want to hang on to things that bring us joy. You hold up this blouse and you say, I love this shirt. Looks great on me. It makes me feel beautiful. I love these, shoes. They're fun. They're orthopedic. They make me happy. They make me feel good. Number 18 falls into a really big category. I know that you struggle with wanting to repair or fix things. So, will you actually take the time to mend, repair, or fix broken items that you're hanging on to? I mean, you haven't done it thus far. And it actually feels really good to let that kind of stuff go. You're instantly checking things off of your to-do list because you're just letting them go. If you're not going to fix that, whatever it is, thingamabob, let it go. That just crosses it off of your to-do list. Whenever you see it, you just think of yourself as a failure. Or, oh my God, I have, 6 bags of jeans that I have to mend before I donate them, or things like that. No, if you're saving things to mend or fix and you've never really mended or fixed anything, then get it out of there. It's really holding you back. And again, it's that psychic debris. It's that subconscious feeling of a failure every time you see it. Number 19. Is this item really important to me? So I want you to think about the future and your freshly, newly organized life where you can find things. Is this item important to you to hang on? What's more important? Items that you're barely using or haven't used at all, or living an organized lifestyle? Number 20, is this outdated? I know a lot of you still have electronics and appliances from the 1980s. I mean, that stuff doesn't even work. We've got floppy disk galore. We've got zip drives. We've got things that I haven't even seen in a long time. 8 tracks. I could go on with all that. Is it outdated? I mean, bell bottoms or whatever you're looking at. Is it outdated? I mean, do you really want to go out looking like you're from the 1990s these days? I know it's a little bit in style, but I mean, really, is it outdated? Is it a computer that no longer has any software? Is it a camera that only holds, 2 megabytes of photos? Whatever it is, if it's outdated, then you should let it go. Number 21. Is it in good enough condition to use? And it kind of falls back on, are you ever really going to fix it? I mean, if you've got something that's on the fritz, a blender, whatever it is it in good enough condition to use? Why are you hanging on to it if it only works half of the time? Or if it only works some of the time? Or if it usually doesn't work, but you're hoping it will work? If it's not in good enough condition to use, don't even donate it. This is really hard for people too. I have people that, hold up a dress and they say, oh my God, it's got stains on it. It's got holes on it. It's not in good enough condition to use. I'm going to donate it. So no, if it's not in good enough condition for you to use, get rid of it. I'm talking trash. I'm talking recycle. You don't want to donate stuff that's in bad condition. You really don't. The donation centers hate it. They've gotten a lot more ruthless these days. They will turn something down if it has holes or rips. And that's not a good feeling either, to go over there with a bunch of junk and then they turn you down. So if it's not in good enough condition to use, throw it out. Number 22. If it is in good condition, would someone with much less appreciate it? If you've got all these beautiful business suits, but you've been retired for 15 years, I mean, wouldn't it feel amazing to help, some other woman or man go on to job interviews or be able to use these items and be really appreciative of the items that you're not using? It's really nice to think, and I love to say that You know, uh, living is giving. I know it's cheesy, but you really want to think, hey, I'm not using these shoes. They're in great condition. They're not outdated. They're really nice, but with someone with much less stuff, someone homeless, single moms, someone just starting out, someone coming out of foster care. There's so many people in this world that really need stuff. And so always think of it when you're reviewing an item with someone with much less stuff. Really appreciate this, and that'll make you feel really good. That falls into 23. Is there a charity that I'd like to donate this to? I know a lot of you don't like the Goodwill or don't like Salvation Army or some of the larger outfits. So do a little bit of research. Is there a homeless shelter? Is there a nonprofit? Is there cancer research? The veterans? I mean, there's so many different organizations out there with just a little bit of research that you can do in your town. I'm sure that you could find a great donation place that will accept your goods and you'll feel really good about it. Now, number 24, big one. I never, it's hard to put them in order because they're all so equally important. So, number 24, are you hanging on to it just in case? A lot of people hang on to things just in case they need it in the future, even though they haven't used it in the last 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. If it's easy enough to replace, let it go. If you're hanging on to things just in case, that could be a really big clutter issue in your home where you have piles of stuff that you're hanging on to just in case. Number 25. This is a big one. This gets a little bit deeper. Is this trying to fill a need that I have inside of me? So a lot of us might want to be somebody that they're not currently. And so are you hanging on to this item because it represents something that you believe in? Are you hanging on to, all of your old class work? And if you're a teacher, I know I have a lot of teacher clients, are you hanging on to things to fill a need inside of you? Your identity is being represented by these things, if that means something to you. Like let's say you're hanging on to something that was really important to you 20 years ago, and really you're just hanging on to it because it's filling a need inside of you. You feel like having all these electronics, everyone's going to remember that you're a computer wizard and that you're very smart. Or hanging on to these old textbooks. You're not throwing away your life as a teacher or your life as whoever you were before when you let go of these items. But I know it's hard. Sometimes we feel like these items become our identity, and so they're filling this need of who we are, even though we're not that person anymore. I hope that makes sense to you. Number 26, kind of moving above and beyond here. What could I focus on if I didn't have this clutter? So if you didn't have all this clutter around your house, would you be painting the walls? Would you be remodeling your house? Would you be out and about with friends? Would you be taking a class at the library? What would you be focusing on if this clutter just went away? Think about that. Because right now you're spending so much time worrying about your clutter and focusing on your clutter that you don't have time to do the things that are important to you. So what would you be focusing on if you didn't have any clutter? And try and hold that as a vision, as a keeping you motivated. If I wasn't decluttering every single weekend that I have, what would you be out doing? Number 27. What have you not done because clutter has been in the way? So a lot of you aren't going out on dates. You aren't going out because you feel like you need to be at home cleaning up. So you're depriving yourself of social events. A lot of you are not doing things that are important to you, volunteering, giving back, spending time with your grandkids, things like that, because you're so focused on the clutter. So what are you not doing because clutter has gotten in the way? What are you depriving yourself of? A lot of us feel like we can't go out and socialize or date or go on vacation until the clutter is completely gone. So what are you missing out on? What is the clutter holding you back on? That's a really big question. Number 28. In what ways could my life improve if I remove this clutter? And this is where I talk about vision boards and creating a vision. I've got lots of podcasts on creating the organized life that you desire. You really want to understand all the improvements that your life will have if you didn't have clutter in the way. I mean, maybe you'd be dating again. Maybe you could go on vacation. I mean, imagine having people over at your house for gatherings. I mean, what ways would your life improve if this clutter wasn't there? Make a list. Find yourself manifesting the type of life that you truly desire, so that way it helps keep you motivated and helps keep you focused. What could you be doing if you weren't all the time at home trying to declutter? I mean, would you be going on vacation? Would you be spending time with your dogs? Would you be spending time with family? Number 29. Hold this item up and ask yourself, does this item fit in my vision of a clutter-free life? So you might have, 16, 17 things that you want to hang on the wall. They're all stacked up against the side. Some of them are in the other room. When you think of your clutter-free life and when you envision yourself living an organized lifestyle, is this item going to actually be on the wall? I mean, a lot of us have hopes and dreams for, decorating and redecorating, but really want you to hold the item up and say, is this CD bookshelf when everything's on MP3s now, is this actually going to be in my home when it's completely clutter free? Are all of these cookbooks, that I've been stacking in boxes and that are on the corner and just everywhere, are they truly going to help you live that clutter-free life, or is this something that you can just start finding on the internet? I really want you to be realistic with yourself and ask yourself, does this item fit the vision of my clutter-free life? When I envision my home the exact way I want it, is this item actually going to be included? So that's a big one as well. And that just brings me to number 30. You really want to start envisioning what items will be in your clutter-free life. I mean, if you don't like something, or if you're only hanging on to it just in case, and you think of your home and you think of it as being completely organized in the way that you want it, you really want to start scrutinizing things. Are you really going to have, 6 junk drawers in your kitchen? So is this fitting my vision of an organized life? It's a lot like number 29. But I really want you to think about, where would it go in the house? If you've got 15 purses and, 10 bins of more purses in your garage, which one is actually going to be the one that's hanging up in your closet that you're using, that you're able to reach? And really start planning ahead of what you'll be doing with your life, what you'll be doing with your space when you actually do get clutter free. Well, there you have it. There's 30 questions to ask yourself. If you want me to email you this in a document, I'd be more than happy to. Reach out to me at Rachel, Rachel, at collectorcare.com. And if you are watching this on YouTube, please make sure you're subscribed and leave a comment and make sure your notifications are turned on. And feel free to follow me on Instagram. I post on there several times a day, and my handle there is at collectorcare1. Until next time, collectors, and remember, happiness is a place between too little and too much.